mobile industry, one way or another, for going on 15 years now. What's interesting is we're finally at a truly interesting crossroads for mobile. Companies are and more companies for that matter, are waking up to discover this enormous audience that is now available to them, but more importantly, are willing to make investments in it. So we now have over 300 million mobile phones in the United States, with almost 50% of them being smart. We now measure annual text messages sent in the trillions. And that doesn't even include iMessage and other instant message platforms. And we have finally eclipsed the 100% penetration mark for devices. Congratulations to us, we have finally caught up with Norway circa 2004. But now that we have this audience and there are these companies that are now awake, they need to see how to access these mobile users who are already their customers. They need real understanding of the mobile market and the mobile consumer behavior. And that is well beyond what they learned in their trip to the Verizon store over the weekend. So with so many vendors and so many technological possibilities, it's not surprising that there is still so much confusion in the market. And for that matter, so much money being incorrectly spent on the shiny objects in the room that even though that they may have completely disjointed tactics still along with them. What clients and what our clients need and what more companies out there need is a mobile strategy with a cohesive direction. And then these tactics can go beneath it in a way that makes a lot more sense. Otherwise, as Yogi Berra so eloquently put it, if you don't know where you're going, you might wind up someplace else. Today, several vendors are going to sit here and pitch how well their different tactics can fall beneath a larger mobile strategy. So having sat through and participated in literally hundreds of panels over the years, where speakers sit here and they talk in vagaries and stock PR answers, we want to do something completely different. So today, you'll get to see these companies in action, so to speak. So here's how it'll work. I've created a company profile for a completely fictional client that was given to each one of these companies beforehand. They will then be able to present a 5-minute presentation, an oral response only, that shows off their campaign ideas for this particular client, as well as what makes them distinctive. Then the audience and myself collectively will get to question them. So for the next 40 minutes, you are the newest members of the MellaMedia team for our client, Space Between. So welcome. You'll like it. We have a good 401k plan. So to represent the different vendor areas, we have sitting in the middle, actually, because you moved on me, Trevor Hamilton from Velti. He is the Vice President of National Sales for the wide-spanning mobile solutions creator. Sitting closest to me is Derek Wiggins from Hip Cricket. He develops brand campaign ideas for the mobile marketing company. And Greg Hallinan on the end is the CMO of Verve Wireless, the mobile ad technology provider and ad network for over 3,000 news outlets. So here's our client. It is a clothing and apparel retailer called Space Between. Space Between produces men's and women's clothing and accessories through their flagship sold through their flagship stores and online, all under the SB brand name. Clothing items include jeans, khakis, outerwear, tees, maternity apparel, loungewear, sleepwear, and sports and active apparel. Their accessory lines include handbags, shoes, jewelry, personal care products, and eyewear. Little Space Between was launched in 2002 for SB-branded children's and babies' clothing and accessories. The company has 3,000 plus company-owned stores in the US and has recently launched a grouping of test stores called Space Between Nonstop in the 10 most trafficked airports. The company also controls 100% of their point-of-sale systems that is owned and run by corporate. The company's mobile history has been fairly straightforward. They have actively engaged in mobile tactics since 2004. They have a properly opted-in text message database with over 500,000 mobile numbers and send out 3 marketing messages per month. However, this list has now stagnated in terms of growth and response, and the company is open to new suggestions how to use the list. In 2008, Space Between's large digital agency pushed the company to invest $100,000 into a branded scavenger hunt iPhone app which drove only 22,000 downloads. The company felt burned and gun-shy at all the other app endeavors that showed up their way. Hopefully I'm hitting on a lot of things which sound reasonable and recognizable to everybody in the audience. MellaMedia came in and we crafted a business-driven mobile strategy for them. including their tactic of a new cornerstone app called Space Between World. It features their customer recommendation engine with easy purchases, scan and order functionality, and stored value options. It also features a first-of-its-kind mobile gift cards, redeemable only through the app that can be given to other people. In fact, the client now views this app as the bridge between their retail stores and their online world, as well as their newest cash register. Their business challenges are really straightforward. They want to drive more foot traffic in the mornings to their stores and increase the size and frequency of their online orders. Their mobile challenges, they need help launching and driving the installs of this app, increasing trackable sales, and staying true to the brand. The campaign is going to launch in August and run to the end of October for 1 quarter. They'll have a budget of $450,000 to vie for, and then ultimately $3.6 to $5 million to get for the remainder of the fiscal year. Yes, it's a lot of detail, and it's with a lot of thought in mind, so each one of them can dig their teeth into it. So with that, Trevor, why don't you get us started?
Sure.
It's worth mentioning that there is no implementation time for an idea. So if they've got an idea, it's done already.
Cool. Thanks, Jordan. Well, hello, clients of the brand. Happy to be here with representing Velti today. Before I get started with the actual solutions, I'd like to give some context in and around the Velti brand as a company. So we provide technology and services to carriers, brands, agencies, and enterprises to enable them to reach target consumers with inside of mobile and deliver value throughout the channel. We are the largest global mobile technology company, and that's by way of revenues, profitability, and customer capacity. We do a lot ranging from carrier-grade loyalty solutions to creating valuable campaigns that specialize in cost savings, customer acquisition, among other things. We're also a tier 1 aggregator, so we play in a lot of different spaces. Current enterprise customers of ours include Ford, General Motors, and Subway. And we've done a lot in the mergers and acquisition space after going public in January of 2011. Global footprint includes 1,100 current employees across 15 offices globally. And again, we are in the space of delivering value through the mobile channel for our customers. Now, as it relates to your specific objectives for this particular campaign, one of the things that we would like to offer is considering there's three elements. You've got your SMS list. You need to drive downloads of your current Space Between application. And we want to obviously increase basket size and the frequency of purchases throughout your overall experience. So to kick it off with SMS, we understand that your list, you've grown it nicely over the past several years. You've got about 500,000 consumers within inside of that list, but it's a little fatigued. You're not seeing much play or return. So we'd like to propose that we start off by sending your consumers a love me or leave me SMS message. And that message is going to contain a special incentive for the consumer to respond yes if they want to stay within inside of the database for the brand, and then they will receive a $25 gift certificate through a use and kill mobile coupon for any in-store purchase of $100 or more. So with that, we know that we're going to retain your brand loyalists coming in. So given that Velti is also a tier 1 aggregator, we have the ability to send something called a free-to-end user text message to the overall consumer base. So what we'll do is, given the fact that you're a big brand and you've got 3,000 locations nationally, you have access to a lot of data. So what we can do is we will maintain your database, and we will scrub it, and we will identify the phone numbers within your database, and we'll segregate the mobile numbers from the landlines, and we'll send a free-to-end user message, which is a one-time free message cross-carrier to the consumer, asking them to respond yes to join the Space Between overall SMS program, so that they will do so, and we will get a whole new fresh batch of users. And then tactically, there's a number of different ways that you can continue to drive engagement through the SMS channel. Everybody knows the statistics. About 90% of all SMS messages are opened and read upon receipt. And if you know that they've expressed interest previously by opting into your brand, the percent probability that you have of closing them on something unique is significant going forward. There's several other tactics that we will talk about, but in the interest of time, I'm going to move on to the next objective of driving application downloads for the Space Between World application.
You got 90 seconds.
Velti is also possesses the largest supply-side platform of in-application inventory out there. It's called MobClicks. It's a business that we own and operate. It connects 25,000 application developers, which represents the supply side of inventory, to the buy side of all the buyers, represented by ad networks, among other players. We have access to over 10 billion mobile ad impressions inside of the overall platform, and we can target by Nielsen Prism segments, among other things, to deliver the specific target audience. So for little space between, we can target moms, among other things, and we can offer this media driving application downloads on a cost per install basis, CPI. So you only are paying for physical downloads, nailing the absolute objective of the brand. Thirdly, Velti specializes inside of loyalty. We've mastered it on the carrier side, representing 13 of the top 20 global carriers with top-up loyalty. And we're applying the science and data and the technology to retail. We have a significant retail proposition that basically marries self-reported consumer data with actual shopping data and provides lifestyle branded rewards and offers based off of that criteria. It's all delivered and on a managed service basis, and it's all performance based as well. So we only get paid on the value that we're creating for you as a marketer. So with that, the loyalty side, which we absolutely excel in, with the application delivery side on a CPI basis through the MobClick sell-side platform, and through our specialty SMS services, given that we're a tier 1 aggregator and we have a lot of special things to offer, we think we have a well-rounded solution. And I'd like to provide one specific case study for a large e-tailer in Europe called Argos.
But we're going to have to hold off on that one.
Velti delivers 220...
Just to be fair, you get it later. All right. Greg, why don't you jump in?
Okay. First, let me step out of character for a second. I need to come to these OMMAs more often because I just got promoted to CEO based on this. We actually have a CEO, and it's not me. I am the CMO. And we're really excited about this opportunity because it fits directly within our core strengths as a advertising technology platform that is focused on the convergence of location-centric solutions in mobile. We power, as Jordan mentioned, over 3,000 premium media brands. The thing that is similar with all those media brands is the fact that they have local-oriented content. Those are national brands that have some location-specific content, as well as going deep in those respective markets across the country with very important brands, number 1, number 2 brands within those markets, be that broadcasters, news, sports, entertainment, weather, et cetera. And that's where consumers are spending their time within mobile. Based on all of that, we are a top 4 advertising network here in the United States based on Nielsen in terms of reach, 94 million uniques per month, and a heavily engaged audience. We skew more towards women, which fits with this target audience, and the women are spending in excess of 40 minutes plus engaged per month, which, you know, outside of Facebook, which my wife spends 40 minutes on a day, that is a heavily engaged audience. The other unique attribute is the fact that because of our content and the nature of our network, we are 100% location aware. Now, what does that mean? That means all of our consumers opt in to disclose their location because they get a better consumer experience within the media that they're consuming. So based on that location, we propose a number of tactics to help reach the objectives. The primary corporate strategic objective was driving foot traffic, and more specifically foot traffic in the morning times between 8 and noon. Secondary objective was increasing overall online sales and basket size. And the third objective was more mobile specific, and that is increased application downloads, which is more speaks to their CRM strategy for space between. We're going to use location to do a couple of things. Our proposal in the media plan involves several line items, as the previous panel mentioned, not getting overly complex and targeting too deep, but instead using location to do a couple of things. One, create dynamic creative. And that dynamic creative will modify SKUs based on regional areas of the country. So what's selling in Northeast might not sell as well in the Southwest. We're going to use those locations and that location data to ensure that, that we're optimizing around those SKUs. We're going to create a mobile circular off of that rich media creative, which presents different SKUs for a user, both to be able to to be aware of that that's available, as well as an incentive. Now, all of this creative will be A/B tested, right? So we'll be able to dynamically create those banners, change those offers, and optimize around that over the course of the campaign. The campaign is perfectly timed around back to school, and will also give us a lot of learnings as we head into the retail-heavy shopping period of the holidays. So this is a great plan. The media schedule is a full 90-day media plan. Then in the additional line item we're going to take, so that's the dynamic creative, location aware, geofence, different market areas around the stores for awareness in terms of the nearest location for you in the products. Second way we're going to use location is in audience targeting and audience clustering. So we have considerable amount of third-party transactional data, some of which are sponsors of this particular program today. But that data, the real value in that data is not unlocked unless you have good and accurate location, which we do. So we're going to find that audience and that target using that location data. Okay, so 2 line items, geo-aware with dynamic creative, and then audience clustering around moms and women. The third element that we're going to incorporate is some day parting, right? So we obviously have the content channel that we're going to focus more on our women content, and we have a mom's channel for mother's content. But we're going to day part, and unlike what you might think where we day part between 8 and noon, we're actually going to day part at night. We have a considerable amount of consumption happening, the 2-screen experience, while people are catching up on what's happening within their markets, catching up on the entertainment, et cetera, while they're watching television. And we are going to use that and measure the effectiveness of the offer within that time period that they then take action on the next day. When they're on their way to work, dropping the kids off at school, et cetera, that's when we can drive the foot traffic in the next day after that awareness. And that's the basics of our overall media plan.
Perfect.
Hi, excuse me. Derek Wiggins, Hip Cricket. I think that woke everyone up. What I'm going to try to do is cut to the chase. What we offer as a company, essentially we're a one-stop shop. SMS, MMS, QR codes, mobile advertising, and applications. So what I'm going to do for this is break this up into 2 different categories. One, the $500,000-ish spend, the other, the $5 million spend. But I'm going to try to be able to give you the sales process behind it, the consumer experience, and what you as the marketer will receive from this. So first and foremost, stagnant database. First thing I would do, segment it. Ask them a specific question. You have no idea who that consumer is. Male, female is a great way to start. You can start sending relevant messages. 2, monetize your media. Make sure you have everything in every store, digital outlet, promoting this opt-in club. So keywords, call to actions, giving different keywords to different forms of material so you can track performance, QR codes on materials so you can help app downloads. 3, provision your short code for MMS. Look, it gives a deeper, richer experience. So now you can deliver with a relevant message, maybe image of a specific gene or a video that's talking through a stylist talking through a specific offering. Then you have the application. I would spend the majority of the money, similar to what these guys were saying, cost per install, targeted, maybe day targeted to national campaigns, so make sure it's demo targeted. But also do incentivized versus non-incentivized. So as you watch the application move up the store based on the download, you get this kind of halo effect. And then you start monetizing and allocating your dollars appropriately back to non-incentivized. Hopefully all this will make sense because I'm going to describe it from a user experience later. So with that said, $500,000 spent. The problem is, for me, there's no thread in communication. So I would put a gaming thread across through all of this. That gaming thread would first start, again, with this database. 500,000 people, make that loyalty number, the phone number, and then make an integration into the application so they're participating in these campaigns, they're gaining points. In addition, geofencing. This is to the SMS base. Push them a message saying you would like to receive location-based messages. Geofence the 3,000 plus stores. So we set up a frequency in the back end. If you're in that fence at that specific time, we're sending you a relevant message to drive you in store. Also, geofence your competitors. No one says you can't do that. Once they get in that specific fence, drive them back to your store. From the application side of things, when I'm looking at this application, I feel like it's a utility that can only be used in stores. What I would suggest was add user-generated content and potentially some additional utility for you at home. So what this means for you as a user is maybe there's a section where you can upload pictures of yourself, comment on other people's uploads, and then gain badges, so rewards essentially. And then having this utility piece. I'm colorblind. Every morning I wake up, I ask my wife if I look appropriate for work. I'd want to have something in the application where I can take pictures of myself in-app, and then store them so I can know maybe date night I can wear this, work I can wear this, weddings, etc. So you have this like application utility fill. With all this said, if we missed any of this, I build a mobile e-commerce site and I build a tablet strategy, so a tablet application. If it hasn't been mentioned, we don't know. So from the consumer side, what would that look like? I'm going to give you a perfect example. Me, Derek Wiggins, I've opted into this original 500,000 database. The first message I get to myself is, are you male or female? I say male. Great. Now I get segmented messages. 2, I get a week later or a day later a message saying, would you like to receive location-based messages? I say yes. Awesome. So now I've got the location piece down. I'm on my phone playing on a subway or playing on a bus. I see an ad come up. I download the application. So now I've got the SMS side and the application side. That weekend I go shopping with my wife. We cross the store. I'm in the geofence. I get a message delivered to me saying $5 off male jeans. I go in, check the jeans out, use the app to find the actual jeans, the user-generated content in there. Looks great, I buy them. When I go to the register, I pay with my preloaded application, but because I've been participating with these SMS campaigns and MMS campaigns and building loyalty points, I get an additional discount off the top. I go home, I'm like, great, this looks really cool. I upload a picture of myself to this user-generated piece. Now I'm earning badge points to become the perfect stylist for that specific brand. Also, because I'm colorblind and I can't see anything as far as outfit-wise, I start taking pictures of myself and putting them on this application so then I can start viewing specific categories. That other remainder of that $5 million, so that was probably, I'd say, $1 million high level. $4 million, put it back into media. Keep driving eyeballs, making sure people know it's there. This time you could possibly be driving to your mobile site, your application, your tablet, etc. So from a marketer, what it means to you is this. You created a conversation, you're driving foot traffic, you've become relevant, you've segmented a database, you're giving localized offers, and from a high-level kind of advertisement perspective, marketing perspective, it's a case study. It is worthwhile for the blogs to know about, the ad weeks to know about. I think you should do it. That's my thought process. That's all I got to say.
That was exactly 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Well, let me ask you this. So now that we're able to segment the database, we know a lot more about them, right?
Sure.
I know they're male, female. I know where they are because they've opted in for that.
Sure.
Okay, so what do I do with that? And I'm not trying to be cheeky. I'm saying that we've had 500,000 to date, and we're sending marketing messages. That's not been the most effective way.
So when I said segmenting, the male-female, in my mind, was like the lowest common denominator. But then you can send messages on a set frequency to ask deeper questions. So what are you more interested in seeing, ties or pants? And then by getting that information, when you see your promotional schedule and those specific offerings coming up around that calendar year, that calendar promotion, send them a message, let them know it's there, and then hopefully that will drive some sort of incentive-based offering to purchase the product.
So it'll let us better shape our marketing messages we're going out to the consumer with?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Would we stick anything else in that message?
Deep links. So
Pardon me?
a deep link in the actual message, if you have 140 characters, so if you have enough for a deep link that could drive to an application download, potentially with a redirect to the App Store or to the mobile site for purchase.
Okay. Trevor, you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. Mobile CRM is absolutely key. Engaging the consumer in two-way, incentivized polling and other methodologies to extract that right data from the consumer. You can build a profile on every customer that you have, and you can build to that data profile over time as you get the response data coming back in. So being able to, over time, take a database of 500,000 plus consumers and then segment it as, with great member segmentation and audience management capabilities, that you understand that this 100,000 consumers live in this specific region. They have ABC attributes. You talk to them uniquely. This 100,000, they live in a completely different geography in the U.S. They have 1, 2, 3 attributes. You talk to them a little bit differently, driving loyalty and sales.
Okay. By the way, Rob's going to circulate a microphone around if anybody in the audience has questions as well. So, but Greg, you came at this from a completely different angle because you obviously have different inventory than these guys do. You're more of an acquisition style vehicle. And what you said that I thought was actually really interesting is the idea to have 3 separate areas or more, that the feedback and there's dynamic advertising in each one of those geographic areas. Would that mean that we're giving you data back on a live feed, on a post feed?
No, I think the only thing that's required are a couple of things. One is the SKUs that want to be promoted, right, and the offers. So obviously that's a conversation that we need to have as partners to drive that business objective, right? What specifically are there specific SKUs within specific regions that are underperforming or that are being introduced? You have a new product line in terms of the baby centers. Are those products for youth, are they underperforming in the Southwest? Then let's look at those SKUs. So there is a bit of data feed and product shots, but these are all assets that you already have. So it's just a matter of making sure that they're properly positioned for mobile. I would say something to the or expand on the CRM piece, right? So the database of 500,000 is important, but it's not sizable enough yet. You're leaving too many people outside that you either want to reintroduce to the brand or introduce to the brand. And I think effectively using not just some of the tactics that we talked about in terms of making it relevant. And again, I think one of the earlier panelists said it, but we talk about it a lot, being relevant, respectful, and being a reminder. There's a way to do some scheduled sales and some other things that you can add the reminder to their calendar. You come into the store during that time period, you're going to get 15% off, and we'll give you an extra 10% off if you download our app. Right? So now you can start to move somebody from reintroduction to the brand or even being introduced to the brand to actually being a brand steward and influencing other people around him. And of course, all the social hooks are in there. You can pin this, you can Facebook it, you can tweet it as to styles and things you're doing and deals that are available. So all of that, so you get the more holistic approach to your overall marketing dollar. But that's kind of the approach we were talking about.
I like the word used there, which is partner, because a campaign, what it looks like on day 1, in practice with you, isn't going to be what it looks like in day 10, day 20.
That's right.
Right?
Exactly. So
in theory, each time that we're running your ads, as long as we have that trackability component to go back all the way down the line to a particular SKU that got sold or didn't sell, then we have a way of continuing to modify the campaign to make it better.
That's right, and that's one of the benefits of mobile. Is the ability to do that in near real time and look at that data on a regular basis and modify and adjust. And that's what's so great about this particular campaign is not only will it be effective during a particular buy season or retail season, but it'll also be some key learnings that occur over that 90-day period that will really tee up the money-making period, which is the holiday period.
Okay, to the rest of the team.
Hey guys, this is Joy Liuzzo from Wave Collapse. So how are you going to get at engagement beyond deals and offers? I know there's been some mentions of game and utility at home, but get the hell away from deals and offers and tell me how you can engage my clients and really get them to tie into the brand.
So she wants to know, what else can you guys do besides the deals and the offers to engage the clients?
I'll start. I mean, that's kind of that's the nature of what I talk about in terms of doing the location line item. And it needs to be relevant. It needs to be presented in the proper context. Ultimately, that's what we all do right in this room as marketers and advertising executives. So putting that in the proper context, you don't even need to create an offer. If it's at the right time, in the right place, and it has relevance because of something as simple as, hey, the nearest location is 1.5 miles away, or something as interesting as, hey, this is special. This is a special deal because you're on this content, you're engaged, and then we're presenting a particular a day, a customer appreciation day or whatever it might be. You can then speak to the customer in the proper context, right? So that's our approach, and that's the reason that we're applying location in a way to reach the right audience, and of course, and in the right time.
Yeah, just to back up Greg, which I agree with completely. Getting to the point, particularly with inside of loyalty, and you can manage a one-to-one relationship with that consumer, understanding specific attributes, again, that either the consumer has self-reported that you can match with their historical shopping behavior, whether if it's online, mobile, in-store, among other things, you can make it so relevant and personalized for the consumer that over time advertising becomes content. So yes, while you want to reward them for their loyalty and you want to provide them with some form of gain for maintaining a relationship with the brand, there's also lots of great things that you can do, Joy, with the consumer as far as lifestyle content, tips, information in and around some of the designers. There's a number of different ways that you can keep the user engaged and make it a really relevant and meaningful experience for them to maintain with the brand.
Derek, did you want to add to that?
I think that's, I agree with both of them. If I said anything else, it'd probably be redundant. But that's exactly what I would think. Okay.
I mean, many of the people in the room, we've been in the mobile industry for a long time. We like to refer to this area as being very entrepreneurial. What it also means is a lot of noise. And for example, if you can contact you can contact one of the aggregators and get yourself an account with them. I'd like to suggest you even get a server. You hooked it up to that. Now all of a sudden you can send text messages And these companies go out and they parade themselves as mobile marketing companies. How does you guys have to compete against that? Yes, you have a lot more money, but on face value, they look like they're doing what you're doing. What makes you different?
I think that's like the life we live. Unfortunately, anyone can make a site that says they do something. I know, me personally, we live off our campaign experience. So 175,000 campaigns, 2004 we started. That's a long time for anyone in the mobile space. And I'm sure these guys kind of deal with the same thing. Proof is in the pudding. That's kind of it.
Very much, it's results based, and it's we're getting beyond referring to ourselves as a pure play mobile technology company. It's omni-channel. There's so many different ways that you can engage consumers through multimedia, but having a sort of a specialization inside of mobile as the channel. We tend to speak to the success that we deliver for our brand customers in that of real revenue and engagement and brand awareness and all those other metrics that are really important to them. I was just telling a moment ago, not to go too far down it, but we have an enterprise e-tail customer in Europe where we've got an integrated loyalty solution, and we're actually producing about $225 million in real revenue annually for the brand, and that's up from 200 last year. So having the ability to be integrated and a part of their overall full customer experience, but be the delivery channel behind it is something that's really unique that makes companies like ours stand out from some of the smaller ones.
Yeah, and one other thing, I think beyond just the technology play, for most of the companies up here, might be speaking, I'm going to say it, the account management side of things. So it's not just here's the technology, good luck. It's like, let's work with you, think about this, plan it out, ideation, optimization, looking at everything from a long-term strategy, and kind of building upon what you've already built, MellaMedia's strategy to help, we know mobile. You guys understand your corporate brand and corporate communication strategy. We understand you look at us as a vendor, but for us it's more of like a partnership. Mm-hmm. So the better we can work together, hands-on in the trenches, the better the outcome's going to be, whether it's a dollar spent now or a dollar spent later. So,
I mean, the challenge that I imagine you run into is we will get pitched vendors who say that they can send text messages for fractions of a penny.
Sure.
Good mobile isn't cheap, and cheap mobile isn't good.
So, cheap mobile ain't good. That's a quote for a takeaway for the day.
We're all performance-based at this point. The economics are something that we worry about behind the scenes. We don't charge our customers on a cost-per-message basis for anything. We don't charge for setup fees anymore. It's all about KPI attainment. So we talk with the brands that we have well in advance of launching anything, and we understand the specific objectives that they want to accomplish, whether if it's customer acquisition, cost savings, loyalty, or et cetera. We understand those up front, and we work the full end-to-end scope of solutions that we have to deliver specifically against them, and we charge them. They pay us on the value that we create for them.
Now, Greg, your noise is very different from their noise, where you've got lots of people vying for the same mobile ad dollars, one way or another.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think the difference is, and I hope that came across, was the nature of our network at being premium. So it's there's a lot of inventory out there. There's not a lot of premium inventory, and there's certainly not a lot of premium inventory that is 100% location aware, right? So all of those things combined help us separate ourselves from others. And I think these guys said it already, but experience, right? We have a considerable amount of experience in this space, both with this particular vertical in terms of retail. We literally run hundreds of retail programs, both national buying local and local buying local, but other verticals. And to be able to bring that experience in and work together to help you succeed and your clients succeed and the brand succeed is what we do on a regular basis. So that separates itself right away too.
Well, I gotta say, when you get to those absolutes of 100%, my ears start perking up because it sounds not quite right. My question was, how do you get you're saying 100% of the people that are...
Yeah, so we score 100% of our inventory with location score, right? Now, 50% of that is a accuracy or fidelity score that we think is extremely accurate, right? It's either GPS based, latitude and longitude, or Wi-Fi based that we can resolve back to, both of those we resolve back to a physical address. Now, the other 50%, slightly less than 50%, involves algorithmically, there's that word, but scoring it using both context, content itself, the nature of the content, and combining that to arrive at an approximate location score, right? I mean, if the fact that I'm looking at NBC Philadelphia, I might not be in Philadelphia, but when combined with other things in terms of time of day, et cetera, we can score that with a confidence level that there's not a lot of waste there.
Okay. So if we're putting together ad units, our creative group is, we bring them to you, and Trevor, we could bring them to you also, and could we buy inventory from your Mob Clicks exchange?
Absolutely, and we also have all the creative services as well to help develop the actual messaging. So the MobClicks supply side platform is fully open to the Velti team as well to participate from all activation, I won't say sales, activation perspective. So we can help from a creative services perspective, A/B test the ads as well. Multivariate is definitely key, and then activate the advertising to produce the optimal post click or the post tap rather, which is what we care about the most, and we have the requisite account management and optimization support to be able to ensure that we're driving the best value. Okay.
I'm a manager at Space Between, working beneath Jordan, but have eyes towards getting his job. I've been here listening all morning to everybody talking about how mobile has to be central to the marketing effort, and how it grabs people in places and in ways that no other medium does. How will each of your plans deliver to me as a marketing executive understandings and data about my consumers that I don't know already? How is mobile really moving the needle in terms of helping us understand the consumer base, since it's so damn intimate and personal, as we've been hearing all morning?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that based on the engagement rates, right? So we run that flight plan. I mentioned earlier specific SKUs by region that we can adjust out. So you have sales data related to those regions. But you might not necessarily know which SKUs could perform better if they were introduced properly in the proper context. So there's some observed data based on what people are clicking on within the e-circular, what things are they potentially putting into their shopping basket, some other things within mobile, and then when that occurs. There's some assumptions there, driving traffic in the morning, but as we mentioned, our plan calls for maybe actually capturing them the night before so they can plan for the next morning. So there's some data points there that might overcome some of the assumptions, and we can cycle that in like I said, near real time.
I would say from our side, so we have a central UI reporting analytics dashboard, so that can report on the SMS activity, the MMS activity, the QR code scans, the advertising side of the business, and any sort of like mobile web or application build. So for you as the marketer, to help you understand your client, it's really about having this central UI to tie in to follow consumer behavior, assuming there's multiple touch points in the program. So you might not know specifics, but if it's coming from the CRM side, and maybe a lot of this database was built from a CRM tie-in, you could have more detail than an individual consumer. The only other way to kind of track down to that specific level would be keyword triggers, or kind of like on the media side, like the deeper dive, knowing tracking pixels of where that consumer is coming from.
Yeah, from our side as well, we are able, specifically through our loyalty proposition, to, over time, develop a completely three-dimensional view of the consumer for the brand. We do so through, as the consumer becomes, they raise their hand, they enroll in the service. Because it's not points-based or cashback-based, it's all about lifestyle-based rewards and offers that are specific to the individualized psychographic and demographic profile of every consumer. They report a lot of data about themselves that they're comfortable with sharing, and we match that and we map it back against their entire shopping experience, whether if they're shopping online, mobile, in-store, if they're in-store, what are they buying, how are they buying, what rewards that we're providing to them are they redeeming and acting upon. So over time, we're able to develop that three-dimensional data approach.
I got one question back there.
Johan Hubert from Resource Interactive. Now, it's good to see Velti and Hip Cricket up there. I made both of you guys work for me both at the same time when I was over at Macy's, and actually the campaign went out really well and we won a bunch of awards thanks to you guys in partnership. But the one thing I'm not hearing here is you take mobile, which is inherently exists for social reasons. It's a communication device and it's getting increasingly more social. And when we talk about a campaign, and one of the marketer's dream is, right, if I put dollars into something and the idea that it can go viral, that's value add. And that's one area that I'm not hearing kind of coming through here. And I'm curious what might be your approach to this, and how would you take this case and make it a little more social so we can get a little more value with that spend?
Actually, I probably wasn't clear, but I did mention the social hooks into the specific campaign creative. I mean, because of the nature of this product line, it's clothing and it's visual, so and it's targeted at women, right? So we all know that the rise of Pinterest over the last 4 months has been predominantly driven by women, and so tying in both Pinterest, Facebook in particular, because both of those things allow for a better sort of posting, and you can create outfits or ensembles, etc., and post that as something that you're putting together and showing off to your friends. Ties in a bit of a social component to it.
Yeah, and assuming this is all coming from either, well, not assuming, a mobile site with just the tabs for Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, so they can like, share, etc. Also, I guess, in some kind of like organic fashion, again, letting that audience know that it's there and putting the correct call to actions to let that social audience share with their friends. If that makes sense.
You want PC?
Yeah, absolutely as well. I mean, what we do is, again, back to loyalty, is omni-channel. It's activated across analog, all digital, all social. And there are multiple opportunities strategically and tactically to enable send to a friend and or shareable types of actions that all benefit the consumer in one way, shape, or form. A hell of a way to turn a tire kicker into that of a brand advocate and that of a loyalist is when they see 10 people that they're socially connected with in some way, shape, or form that are engaging with a brand or a specific offer. So cross social is definitely very important.
There was one other term that I'm sorry.
Sorry. What I was trying to get. Well, what I'd love to hear is we're hearing a lot of things that we generally hear here. What I'd love to hear from your side, based on your experience, and you guys cover so many different clients, if you had to pick one or two people who've done it really well, making something that is share worthy. I always look at that as one of the aspects. Yeah, saying we want to make it something that someone can share is easy to say, but making something that people actually want to share. Who have you seen that's hit it out of the park or that you've worked with that has really done a fantastic job there?
Well, I would say that not necessarily in this vertical, in another vertical in the QSR space was the scheduling concept that I mentioned during the proposal, and our network is most of the inventory that you guys are buying or your media firms are buying is smartphone based, right? And smartphones have the ability to add something to your calendar, right, as a reminder. Your ability to share that calendar invite. So working with in-store sales team and the channel teams to create event-oriented stuff, people feel that exclusive nature of that. This is relative to me. It's relevant. It's in my neighborhood. I want to share this with my friends. So tying in and sharing that calendar reminder as a component can create a bit of a buzz, and that worked really well for this particular QSR client, exceedingly well.
Unfortunately, out of time. So first, I'd like to thank you all for being part of our client team for our faux client. However, MellaMedia, we are hiring real mobile strategists, so tell your friends. I'd like to thank Greg, Trevor, and Derek for participating and being good sports along the way.